Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning into the Reaching New Heights podcast with me, Megan Gallagher. Today, we have such an incredibly brave guest on the show. She is an interior designer, mother, and the real life survivor of Dirty John, which is the dating series that was on Netflix, originally started out as a podcast. And she is so courageous, and she is helping so many women who may get into toxic, abusive relationships or even stalking. And I am such a fan of hers. I cannot wait to hear more of her story. And I feel so lucky to get to talk with her. So please, everyone, help me in giving a warm welcome to Debra Newell.
Hi, everyone.
Thank you so much, Debra, for coming on my show.
Oh, you're welcome.
Debra, I would love to know a little bit before, like, your life pre, Dirty John, and when the series and the podcast came out, and just how your life was before, then how it just changed into this huge thing.
As you know, I went on a dating website. If you follow the story, I'm successful in my business. My children are raised, and I found myself going home to an empty home. So I thought I'd join a dating website. And unfortunately, I met John. When I met John, he seemed like the perfect guy from everything that I was reading about him. And then I ended up talking to him, and he seemed great. So little did I know how much I would be deceived.
It's so crazy too, because in today's world, there are so many apps, and online dating is so popular with like Tinder.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
It's huge. And I would love to know from your opinion, for everyone listening, what are red flags or things that you now notice and know of, okay, this person may not be who they say that they are, or this may be like a toxic relationship. Like, I would love to hear those.
Well, as you know, I'm older. The one thing that was important to me was meeting someone my age, number one. And number two, back in the day when I was dating, the guy comes, picks you up at the door, you go out, you give him your number. It's not that way anymore.
Yeah.
You have to be so careful. And so basically, red flags these days and the way to go about dating is so different. Never give them your number or where you work or where you live.
Yeah.
You really take it a lot slower. The one thing that I learned is to pay attention to my gut. Instead of the feelings of falling in love and the excitement and all that, I realized you really have to think about what you're doing and who this person is and do some investigating.
Yeah.
And there's so many ways of investigating these days. Truth Finder is one way, and that's one of the things that I use now. But one thing I realized in all of this is I should have not put so much information out there about success, because a lot of men are into money. But for the younger people, you still have to put it out there that you are wanting to date, and you still need to meet them at a coffee shop or wherever, maybe not give them too much information, take it slowly. I also feel that get to know their friends, get to know their family. The red flags is when they're trying to move too fast or they're trying to control things. I feel that one of the most important things that a person can do these days, a younger person especially, is, again, don't go to their place, don't have them come to yours, but meet them, again, out and about. And getting to know their friends is so essential these days because dating has changed so much. You really have to know what you're dealing with because there are so many sociopaths, psychopaths, a lot of bad men out there, and women for that matter. But what you have to do is you have to do a little bit of investigating, not give them too much information about you, but again, meet them in a mutual place, meet their family, meet their friends, move slowly, have boundaries.
Yes.
Listen to your gut, which is a really big one, because I did not do that. You also really want to watch and learn their ulterior motives because they can say and do all the right things. The one thing about getting to know the friends is you're not getting to know that person. Get to know the friends' girlfriends or wives, whoever, because they will have a little bit more of an accurate view of this person. A lot of the buddies tend to think the person's great or want to cover up because they're all friends. Also, another thing that they can do, if they're willing to, is talk to the ex-girlfriend.
Yes.
If there's an opportunity, not getting too into it, but
yes.
anyone that knows his background and who he really is.
That's so powerful. And that's something that I never would even think about doing, is reaching out to the ex-girlfriend, or even just, checking her out on social media and making sure, she looks healthy and happy and also normal, mentally stable.
Right.
I just relate to that so much because in my own experience, when I was in high school, I dated a guy and it was so toxic. But what you said, listening to your gut feeling, I didn't do that. And the whole time I had this constant knot, this pit in my stomach, and I never knew why. And I was like, literally, do I have a stomach ache? I don't know what's going on, but it's just every time he texted me, I felt like I was dropping on a roller coaster. Like my stomach just lurched and, nothing really added up, and it's just nothing was really working, but I was still so fighting for this person. And it wasn't a match, and my parents weren't happy. Nothing really. They were like, Megan, you're acting so different.
Exactly.
The gut feeling, it's like the most powerful thing ever.
It sure is. I think we go to our heart a lot of the time opposed to our head. I really also felt educating yourself, getting to know what are the red flags, getting to know basically what are the steps to gaslighting, if you know about gaslighting.
Yes.
And also getting to know about love bombing, which is a big one where they say all the right things, they do all the right things to lure you in.
Mm-hmm.
But the ulterior motive is wrong. Moving too fast is another one. When they just want to be with you all the time, do things for you. It's control.
Wow. It's so crazy too, because I know what the feeling is, and I know you do too, and so many people listening, of when you are in that relationship, it's like tunnel vision. You're so blind, you're so blinded by the hormones, the love, the intimacy, and other people. You don't notice, but you may notice, but at first you don't really notice the little weird things of, he never really asks about me or my parents, or he kind of.
But if they are a sociopath or many other traits that are bad, they will try to figure you out. So they ask a lot of questions.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So you don't even realize, you think, wow, they're really interested in me. This is great. Mm-hmm. But what you don't realize is they're finding information so they know what to say to you, what's going to turn you on, what's going to pull you in. So.
Right. I've been single for so long, and I go on a few online dates and I meet guys in person sometimes, but there is just that hurt of what if the past happens again? And what if I get really anxious and I feel that awful feeling of I've let myself down. I've, put myself out there and I was rejected, or it just was not healthy. It was negative.
Finding a great guy is a lot of luck, but again, using your head.
Yes.
It's not easy out there. I'm looking at my youngest daughter, Tara, and the challenges she's having of meeting men. A lot of them are narcissists, and she's finding, as far as a commitment, it's tough.
I feel the exact same way. And I oftentimes am thinking, is it this generation? Is it just me? Is it, the tech world that we live in, fast paced, and just everyone, it's not like the 1950s where, it was, you get married at 20, 21. It's just, things are so different now, and people are getting married later. And
I think it has something to do with this generation because of all the tech, and it's so easy. And I also believe that in my generation, we had our own issues. We got married out the gate at 20 and then found ourselves, a lot of us, not all of us, but a lot of us divorced at 25, 30.
Right.
With a couple kids. So I think there's different trade-offs, different generations of what we've learned, what we take forward with us. It's different to each generation.
And I would love to know what you said, love bombings.
Love bombing that's why all the questions. There's the ulterior motive, whatever the control is that he's trying to get, whether it be your money, or just controlling you, every move that you make. The one thing that they do is they ask questions, what do you do? What's going on with your job? And they learn what you love to hear. So they'll ask you, what do you like in a guy? What do you like in relationships?
Wow.
And so they try to mirror that. John, he was spending his day trying to figure me out. He was looking into my passwords. He was looking into my work. He was trying to do everything to control everything. He put a tracker on my phone, on my car, to where he knew where I was at all times.
Oh my gosh.
So, yeah.
That's so messed up in so many ways. And I am so sorry that you had to go through that. But I also feel that it's just blossomed into such a positive thing.
Well, I'm glad I went through it, actually.
Wow.
I mean, it might have been a huge challenge. And also what happened to Tara. But we're trying to take something bad and make something good out of it and educate others. And so I feel it happened for a reason to us.
And it really has. I've watched so many interviews with you and your daughter, and you both are so beautiful and so well spoken and just such a dynamic mother-daughter duo. You both are raising just so much awareness for something that people normally, don't talk about, or there's a stigma, or they're afraid, or they don't even know how to ask for help, or they've thought about, am I in a toxic relationship that's not serving me, and is my partner affecting my mental well-being? And now they have these actual things that they can go look up and get the facts.
Right. The one thing also that I think is really important, when I started speaking out, I had a lot of victim blaming. And at first I was like, wait a minute. I'm the good guy in this. He was the bad guy. Why are you guys doing that? And I thought, okay, maybe obviously there were red flags. You never think you're going to put your kids in harm's way because you don't even realize who this person is. The one thing that I'm learning is a lot of women are ashamed.
Yes.
They're blaming themselves. A lot of them are such great women. And these men are just good at what they do. They're great at conning. And I tell these women, don't beat yourself up. Educate yourself, get to know who you are, feel good about you are. And then if you really want to date or get back out there, but just be smart about it. Know all the red flags.
That's so powerful. And I think there is such a difference in dating when you always are. Well, first, are you dating because you're looking for someone to fill you up or complete you versus you're already, confident, you already know your worth and you love yourself and you are just doing it for to have some fun in your life. I think there is such a difference when you are going out with a mindset of, I'm lacking in something, I have a lack of, versus my cup is full and I'm just looking for an extra.
Well, I don't think you should go out damaged.
No.
Looking for someone to fit, be there for you in the wrong ways. I believe you have to be a whole person, a healthy person, and then look for someone if you want.
Yes, that's so true. I also would love to know, Debra, have you in your career and when after the Netflix show came out and the podcast and you've been doing all these incredible interviews and work with your daughter, have you had a moment where you felt, oh my gosh, kind of a full circle, aha moment where you thought, wait, maybe this is why everything happened? Just kind of one of those moments?
Oh, 100%. That's why I spoke to begin with. When I was first approached by Christopher Goffard to do the podcast and the articles in the LA Times, I thought to myself, do I want to air my dirty laundry? Do I really want, people judging me and attacking me? Will this affect my career? I had to really look at all this. And my attitude back then was, if I could help one woman, it's worth it. Because I know who I am. And I thought at that time, okay, I'm going to go ahead and talk. And I know I'm going to get beat up. I know that there's going to be a lot of women that think I put my kids in harm's way, which is the opposite of what I feel that I did or tried to do. It was called meeting a man and having no idea who he was.
Of course.
And I believe that God used me. And
I love that.
This is where I'm supposed to be. This is my new passion in helping women.
Yes. And I have a quote that I say to myself all the time. I have two quotes. The first one is
Uh-huh.
everything is happening for me, not to me, because
Uh-huh.
I have struggled, especially that relationship was so hard being only
Yeah.
17. And it was my
Yeah.
first, look at love, and
That's tough.
it was just tough because it was so toxic. And
Yeah.
then to like break up and be like, oh my gosh, so now I feel like this, almost damaged person of like, what's a healthy relationship? And also the second quote I love saying is, my pain is my purpose. And
Mm-hmm.
it's
Good
like
for you.
we all struggle and go
Yeah.
through things, but at the end of the
Right.
day, hurt people hurt other people. Good people who
Right.
feel good about
Right.
themselves
Right.
don't go around bullying, tormenting,
Mm-hmm.
critiquing other people.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people have some pretty bad childhood
Yes.
memories and things that happened to them that really damaged them. My
Mm-hmm.
attitude is go in, get the therapy, fix it,
Yep.
change it, move forward, and make a difference. So, one thing that you probably went through that I think is essential is knowing what you went through. That was a bad guy, that was a bad
Mm-hmm.
experience, but there are great guys out there. And again, knowing the red flags to know what is good and what's bad, and taking your time.
Yes, it's also been such a rewarding journey of being being a female business owner, and like I've accomplished
Right.
my own dreams and things I
Mhm.
never thought would come
Right.
true, but
Right. Well,
things do
good for
happen
you.
for a reason.
Yeah. I have two kids that are married, happily married.
Oh,
My two older kids, very happily married. I have 5 grandkids. And, so I know there's healthy, great relationships out there because they're both examples of that.
yeah.
And my son is one of the best guys I've ever known, just truly a good human being and a great
Hmm.
husband and father and person. Yeah, and my daughter, her husband is darling and such
Hmm.
a great guy. His heart is so pure and so good. So there are good guys out there. Don't give up.
Yes. It's so true. There's so many incredible people. I would also love to know, Deborah, if you had a moment where you could grab lunch or coffee or dinner with the Deborah that was in the midst of that toxic, awful relationship,
Uh-huh.
like what would you say to her? Or would you even be able to be like, oh my gosh, look at all of the good that's come from this?
When I was going through it, I had a couple friends that stood by my side. So, one thing for others, not this is something that was so important to me, is they were there. They're still
Mm-hmm.
there. And they loved me no matter what I was
Mm,
going through. They had their judgments about John, but they loved me and just wanted me
yes.
happy. And so, the one thing that I think is really important, keep your friends in your life, keep your life, keep being who you are and
Mm-hmm.
working and doing what's healthy. And hopefully, I think if I look back, read the red flags a lot earlier. I was scared to death at times that he was
Mm,
going to kill me, or there was just this fear all the time. I didn't know what I was going to walk into when I opened that door when I go home. Once I was in hiding for 7 months. I was afraid that he was going to be somewhere right there and grab me and attack me, or one of his friends for that matter, was going to do it. So I think that you have to obviously learn from what you've gone through and again, reach out and help others.
that's incredible. And I mean, I could say like thank you so many times, but truly thank you for just how brave you are being, and you are putting yourself out there and being vulnerable, but you are helping so many people.
Oh, thank you. It's my pleasure. It's what makes me happy these days is when I know I've made a difference.
Okay, so Deborah, time for the fun questions.
Okay, uh-oh.
So towards the end of the podcast, I love to ask every guest to just really quickly imagine that this is a radio show and we have people calling in and asking questions like a hotline. And let's imagine that there is a young lady who's calling in and saying, Deborah, I am such a fan of yours. I love your podcast. I've watched every episode of the Netflix series. I feel like in my own life, I'm in a toxic relationship. I feel, there's just little things that my partner does where I'm like, is this love or is this something else? What would your top 3 tips or the best thing you could tell her of how to get out of a relationship that's negative, or what is just a good way to start getting help or how to get yourself out?
Okay, well, there's a lot of hotlines in every city about where to go, like a shelter where they will keep you safe. So that's number one, is investigating, trying to find a place so that when you are going to leave, that you have a place to go and you're hidden. Number two, the thing for me is because I had to leave my work for 8 months, 7.5 months, I had to get my life in order to know that I didn't have to go to work. So prepare to go into hiding if it's that dangerous. Document everything. I can't begin to tell you the importance of documenting because coercive control isn't quite a crime yet. I went to 4 police stations, okay? Nobody could do a thing because I didn't have a mark on me, even though they were threats. Yeah. And usually it's too late. But when you go to leave, you have to really think about the safety. I can't go to a place where you're going to hide yourself. You can't go to work. You can't do the same things you've done in the past. So it's a whole brand new life. If you can get the person arrested, great. But I don't know how long that stands up these days. Some states are so lenient. It's really sad.
Yeah. Wow. That's such great advice too. And I love that you said that because I know that there are so many people who are in relationships where the person like is tracking their phone, has their info, like they can't Google something without their partner finding out. But like you said, there are hotlines. You can, send a letter. Like there are ways to get out.
Yes. And another thing that I did, I got another phone. I had a new email, a new phone. I got a rental car. I obviously stayed in hotels. So I had to completely change my life. A lot of these guys are good at what they do. So you have to think a little bit ahead of them. I also had to educate myself on what John was. At first, he was diagnosed and I went to a forensic psychiatrist that could tell me about what I was dealing with. So I could be ahead of him at times. He was diagnosed as a narcissistic sociopath predator. Wow. So I had to learn how to deal with him. He ended up being a psychopath, but we didn't know that quite at the time. We knew that he had some pretty evil ways about him and some major issues. So learning who that person is and how to deal with him is really important also.
It's also just important to notice how your loved ones interact with them. Like for you, I remember reading your story and your daughter, Tara, just always had this like feeling about, it's so important because I think when you do fall in love or lust or the honeymoon stage, you just are so, once again, blinded by infatuation, but our loved ones, our parents, our siblings, our children, they know us best and they're going to know when, he's kind of like distancing you from us or your grades are slipping or there's just little things.
Well, what's interesting about Jacqueline, Tara, and Nicole, all 3 of my daughters, Nicole said he didn't have eye contact with her. Jacqueline is my little detective. Oh my goodness. The minute he walked in the door, she said, Mom, something's wrong with this guy. And then Tara, it was a month and a half later that she met him for the first time. Everyone gets along with Tara. So I was like, why aren't they getting along? At the same time, my kids have been very critical of who I've dated because they think I deserve the best. So they've been hard. Any guy that met my kids really had to go through a test. In this incident, I thought, oh no, here we go again. They're not going to like this guy. But hopefully if moms or just girls are dating and you have someone that really just cares about you and sees your best interest, have them around. Get their feedback.
Okay, Debra, now we are going to go into the fun, the rapid fire questions. So these are super goofy, just whatever comes first to your mind. They are very just non-serious questions. So the first one is, if you could be any type of junk food or your favorite, just like guilty pleasure food, what would you be?
You know, we're in quarantine right now, and I am so into ice cream.
Me too. I've been eating like a pint every night.
Me too. It's terrible. I think I've been doing a lot of Haagen-Dazs and what's that other one? Pistachio, cookie dough, Rocky Road. I mean, I have all these favorites. And I finally thought, okay, I looked in the mirror the other day and I thought, okay, we've got to switch to salads.
It's been so hard during quarantine. I feel like I'm eating like Cheetos and I'm just like, Megan, take a breath.
Yeah, exactly. And I think my exercise is getting up from the sofa and going to the refrigerator.
I know. I'm with my parents right now and it's just, oh my gosh, it's dinner time. Let's, let's make our move down to the living room. It's like an appearance in every room.
Right. Now, did you the first few weeks cook and cook and cook? Because that's all I did. I thought, I haven't cooked this forever. I'm going to make this. Or, I love this. And again, I haven't made it for 2 years. I've got to make it. So I think I made all my favorite dishes the first few weeks. And then I thought, restaurants still have to-go food. I think I'm going to go there now.
No, the first 2 weeks, I felt like a mini Betty Crocker. I was cleaning, disinfecting. I was like, oh my gosh,
Oh, my house. I was even cleaning walls and baseboards. I think I cleaned the paint off of a couple areas.
I know. I was like, oh my gosh, I can clean, my cuticles, just anything.
Yeah.
It's, oh my gosh, I know. Now I'm at the point where it's like phase 2 and I'm like, I'm over everything.
Did you notice I'm outside?
Yes. Okay. And the second rapid fire question, Debra, is what is the most embarrassing thing that has ever happened to you?
Oh my gosh. There are so many. You know what? I have a really funny one, but it's not about me.
Oh my gosh.
It's about my mom, but I think it's the funniest story ever. So my mom has been a speaker her whole life. And what happened was she was speaking and she was up on stage. And I think there were 400, 500 people in the audience. She speaks on forgiveness and also the murder of my sister, forgiving Billy.
Wow.
So what was happening is she was trancing back and forth on stage. And all of a sudden she felt something at her ankles and she couldn't walk. And everyone was giggling in the audience. And she realized she'd lost her pants. And she looked down, pulled them up, and she said, well, you may not remember what I said today, but you will certainly remember that.
Okay, you are combining two fears. The fear of public speaking, so many people have that, and then being on stage.
You know what? I don't have that fear. Because I love what I'm talking about. When you feel you're doing something for others, that fear goes away.
I agree completely. I love being on stage. I love, I feel like I thrive. I love entertaining and talking, but I can't believe her pants fell down.
So that topped any of my embarrassing moments, I think.
Oh my gosh. And the last rapid fire question is, what is the best piece of advice you've ever received?
Probably love yourself and do what's right. Because at the end of the day, you have to look in the mirror and feel good about what you see.
It's so simple, but I feel like everything comes back to, do you love yourself?
Yes. So true.
Well, thank you so much, Debra, for coming on my show. This has been so incredible, and I feel so lucky, and I'm so thankful. And your story is so inspiring.
Well, thank you.
I would love to know, do you have any fun upcoming projects that you want to share?
Well, I do. I have a book coming out.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's still a ways away for certain reasons, but I'm real excited about that. And then on top, and it's about my life, but it's also about my past, obviously, but it's also about my sister. And it's about what I've learned through all of this. I can't really talk about a couple other things, but I have some really exciting things on TV that are coming.
That's so exciting. I can't wait for your book.
Well, thanks. I'll send you one.
Yes, I would love that. That's so incredible. And where can everyone find you on social media?
Debra Ambrose Newell, which is my main name and my last name, or Debra Newell.
Perfect. Amazing. Thank you so much again, Debra.
You're welcome.
Has been so much fun, and your story is so powerful and so inspiring. And thank you, everyone, for tuning into Reaching New Heights podcast. And always remember, strive for more.